Welcome back to the Restaurant Growth Show podcast. Today, we are diving into the innovative world of cooking shows with Lenzy Ruffin. Lenzy, a U.S. Army veteran turned cooking show advisor, empowers professional chefs to not only start their own shows on YouTube, but also to turn them into vibrant lifestyle brands. He's here to share his expertise on how chefs can enhance their profiles, grow their businesses, and create new revenue streams through captivating culinary content. Lenzy, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Gordon. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, it's great to have you on the show. Listen, before we dive into all of the tactics and tools and motivation that you're going to provide our listeners, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What took you on this journey to where you are today?
Sure. It was a long journey from the Army to here.
No kidding.
Mentioned that, I was like, man, that was a couple of lifetimes ago. But yeah, that was, I used to be an Army officer, and they paid for college. I paid them back with my service. And then I went on my journey as an IT professional, which was what I went to school for. And that was my passion. I used to spend all my time in a data center, in the basement of buildings, tons and tons of huge machines, loud computers throwing off a bunch of heat. And I used to love it. That was my thing. Programming computers was my thing. And I did that for about 15 years. And then hit the wall eventually. Just the thing that I used to love. Mainly it was bad management. What happened was, the farther I ascended in my career, the less qualified my managers were to manage me. And it just became increasingly frustrating dealing with folks. They want me to do it their way. It'll take 3 months. If I do it my way, it'll take 3 weeks. And then when it's taken longer than what they wanted it to take, they want to blame me for doing it their way. Like, so it just, I just got tired of that. It just eventually, it was one of those deals where I got to be the person who I used to want to be when I started out. I want to be the guy that everybody comes to for everything. Cause the guy at the top. And when you get there, you're like, man, I don't like this. See, you get to the
Spoken like
top
a
of the mountain.
true entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't like the view. So I decided that I would quit and start a photography business because photography was my hobby. It was the only other thing that I knew how to do well enough that I could possibly make money at it. And so I started a headshot photography business. That was my introduction to entrepreneurship and learning the importance of marketing and sales, and that it's not good enough to just know how to do something. You have to understand business and know and have these business skills, primarily marketing. And so that was a really harsh awakening that I know a lot of entrepreneurs experience. You get really great at the thing that you do, and that's not enough. You got to be able to market it and sell it. So that's what got me into video, learning how to. That was when I first stepped from behind the camera to in front of it, to learn how to make videos to promote my photography business. And that's how I started teaching myself marketing. And then ultimately I had like a video production business on the side of my photography business, where I was teaching other business owners how to make videos to promote their businesses, because I'd learned how to do it myself. And then I just, okay, well, I can teach you how to do this. And so I was recording people. It was like a little side hustle. And then it just eventually, through iterations of the business, because it went from headshot photography to event photography, then to family lifestyle photography. All along, I'm developing more business skills, and I still had this side business going with the video production for small business owners. And ultimately that led me to doing a cooking show. Just one day, how that started was just sitting at home watching TV on a Saturday, watching, it was PBS, I'm sure, and it was a cooking show. And I'm looking at it going, man, I bet I can produce a cooking show as good or better than this one. No different than a chef who tries a dish at a restaurant and says, yeah, I can reverse engineer this and do it as well or better. And so I reached out and found a local chef, said, hey, you want a cooking show? She said, all right, I'll give it a shot. And so we used the cooking show out of her apartment. It looked like what I had intended it to look like, which is the holy grail for photographers and videographers, when you can visualize something and then actually create it. Because often you can see it, but you can't make it. But when you can actually make it look like what it looked like in your head, that's the highest achievement. And so I was able to do that. And that's how the cooking show stuff started. It was really just a personal project. It wasn't a business idea. It was just, yeah, I think I can do that. Let me just try it out. And so that's where that started initially. And then it didn't really begin in earnest until a couple years later, a year or two later when the pandemic happened and all these restaurants started shutting down. And I'm just trying to figure out, well, how can I be a part of the solution here? What can I do? If you can remember back when the early days of it, when we were all spraying Lysol on our packages because we didn't know how it was even being transmitted.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon makes this delivery, you spray down the packages and leave them in the corner in quarantine for a couple of days. That's during that time. That was when I'm trying to figure out, well, how can I be a solution to this? Because these people have invested so much, they put their life savings into this, and these restaurants are just closing permanently. And that's when I revisited the cooking show idea. Just it just popped in my head. You do know how to do something that can help these folks. Let's find somebody and teach them how to do a cooking show so that they can make money during this pandemic. So I reached out to a local caterer who I found, and she was fighting to save her business, and so the cooking show with her, and that was a part of helping her keep her business and her employees survive the pandemic. And then it just continued on from there. I was like, okay, I enjoy doing this and it's easy to me. So if you can make money doing something that's fun and easy, what better way is there to go?
Exactly. I love the model because listen, you're talking to a couple of marketers here too, and I know that marketing is really a driver for you when you're speaking with some of your clients. I think I was watching one of your podcasts. I think it might have been Grown Folks Business, and it's a one-on-one format. And I remember you were talking about email. And you need to get on email. And you can ask Jose here. I just hammer home email when we're doing consulting because it's so overlooked. And when I saw that, I'm like, I can identify with Lenzy because a lot of people are missing the mark on email marketing.
Most there's a 40x return on investment come to social media marketing, and the overwhelming majority of small business owners are not using it. It's the simplest, easiest way to communicate. I tell my clients, your number one goal with marketing is not making a sale, is collecting an email address,
Hmm.
because now you have the opportunity to communicate with them in perpetuity, and you have unlimited opportunities to make a sale. So we're not even trying to make a sale on our first interactions. We're trying to capture an email address, because otherwise you may, for most people, that one interaction, whatever that post they saw and they clicked the link and went to that page, that's, if you don't collect their email address, that's the last time you're ever going to see them, because we're in a busy world full of distractions. So you collect that email address, now you have the opportunity to engage them. And so many people are worried about spamming people. Oh, I don't want to be, I'm like, if you don't want to spam people, then don't spam people. Send them useful, relevant emails, and they will be happy to stay on your list. If the emails they receive from you add value to their life, it helps them move closer to a solution that they're looking for, or move farther away from a problem that they're having, they will stay on your email list and they will welcome your emails. It's everybody who thinks email marketing is bad or could be bad is subscribed to somebody's email list. There's some business that is delivering emails to them on a regular basis because they're on their email list, and they haven't unsubscribed because they don't feel like they're being spammed. So yeah, it's especially for food industry professionals, restaurant owners, one weekly email will do so much more for you than wasting a bunch of time posting on Instagram and TikTok and trying to figure all these things out. You can just send one email a week to people who want to hear from you and deliver to them your weekly newsletter with your cooking show as the flagship centerpiece, the anchor content for that newsletter. If you're having, for a restaurant owner, if you're having promotions this week, or a catering business owner, when we get towards holiday season, think like Thanksgiving, if you're going to sell turkeys or something like that, your email list is how you can sell that stuff out early. So if you want to sell, let's just say 200 birds, you put that out to your email list starting in, I like to have those going out, let's see, August, early bird, like just letting people know, hey, you don't want to cook for Thanksgiving, you can, we can take care of that for you now. Go ahead and so
The
you can
pun
do that.
intended, right? Is a pun intended. It's early bird turkey
Yeah.
special.
So you can do these things through email so much more easily than you can through social media marketing. So yeah, I am a huge proponent of email marketing.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And there's one thing that majority of restaurant owners and operators have that they are not utilizing is an email list. And we talk about, you need to get that email, but these restaurants already have their email because they're subscribing to third-party delivery, they're subscribing to newsletter already, but they're not doing anything with that email list. So
Yep.
guys, get on the email. It's the ROI. Lenzy is not lying, is massive, and it's way more effective than social media marketing and way less expensive than Google ads or Facebook ads. So get on that email. So switching gears a little bit here, I can talk about email all day. And thank you, Lenzy.
Same
You took a
here.
lot of words out of my mouth because I speak the same type of things about email. So thank you for that. Listen, let's get back to cooking shows. Lenzy, can you break down the first steps a chef should take when they're looking to launch their own cooking show on YouTube?
Number one, start your YouTube channel, which is easy. If you have a Gmail address, you have a YouTube channel. You just need to turn it on. You go into your account settings, you check the YouTube channel button, and you activated your YouTube channel. And then step two is record yourself cooking something. Take your phone, turn it horizontal. We're not vertical, horizontal, because I want everybody thinking when you think cooking show, when you think YouTube, think television. YouTube's not just another social media platform. In the U.S. households, YouTube is the number one streaming service, not on the television, not Netflix. More people are streaming YouTube to their television than they are Netflix. So when you think YouTube, don't think it's the same as Instagram and TikTok. No, YouTube, you're putting yourself on the big screen TV in people's homes. So we are going to turn our phones horizontal so we don't have these black bars and all this wasted space. And really, that's it. To get started, put your phone on a tripod, press record, cook something, and teach people what you're doing. It's no more complicated than that. There's more to it to develop your show, to monitor to a business and everything, but to get started is as simple as pulling out your phone, put it on a tripod, press record, start cooking, and teach something.
It sounds simple, yet so many people they have that block. They're just like, I'm not ready yet, or my background isn't lit properly. I don't have the right sound, and all of these wonderful things. No, just get started. The same with the podcast.
Yep.
Same with deal with this podcast. We just started. We're gonna figure it out as we go. So go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that even easy is that everybody's recording videos already for other things, and it should not be that different. And we complicate ourselves to take that first action.
Exactly that, Jose.
So tell me about okay, I get started. Now, what is your advice to evolve that YouTube cooking show into a lifestyle brand that resonate with the audiences on a larger scale?
Okay. So you got to commit to the long term, first of all. This is not a get rich quick or a magic bean solution. This is, if you particularly think, so we're talking to restaurant owners here. Think about this like your restaurant. You don't open a restaurant expecting to accomplish whatever you set out to accomplish in a year. You sign up. This is a journey that you're going on. So treat your cooking show the same way and just think long term. And so to think long term, we're going to show up once a week indefinitely. Not, how long do I have to do this? That's the wrong mindset. This is part of my operations. This is my flagship marketing activity. And this is just a part of what we do. Just like we order food every week because we got to feed, then you have to do your cooking show every week. So to do that, what I recommend is picking one day a month as your recording day, and you're going to record 4 to 6 episodes. This is your marketing day. So this is an important day on your calendar. You have to respect this appointment. And by doing that one day a month is going to yield 50 episodes per year for you. You record those 4 episodes. I like to try to go for 6 if you can, but let's say you just do 4. That's your next 4 weeks worth of content. YouTube is the least demanding social media platform in terms of your time. You publish that 1 video per week, and that's all you got to do. And next week you show up with another one. So to build that lifestyle brand that you're talking about, number one, we have to establish your system for publishing content consistently, because nothing's going to work if you don't do it consistently. The analogy I draw is the Big Mac. It's the worst burger in the world. Everybody knows, but nobody, if they stop selling Big Macs today, for the rest of humanity, nobody will ever create another burger that catches up to what the Big Mac has sold already, because they have a system. The system is more important than anything else. So once you've established your system for publishing your videos consistently, now the lifestyle brand, that just comes from you showing up every week. Who are you? What are you bringing? What are you interested in? So you're doing the cooking, but are you also doing decorations? Like, so think like Martha Stewart type stuff. Is your brand truly a lifestyle brand where you're just using food to bring people to the table, and then you talk about these other things? You have interior design ambitions, and you talk about that. Or I have one client who's a mother, of young children. She brings people to the table. She's a vegetarian, been a vegetarian for decades. So she's using that knowledge to bring people to the table because everybody's trying to learn plant-based now. But her real business is actually a community for mothers to support each other, natural childbirth. She gave birth to both of her children at home, and just all of the challenges of the hardest job in the world, being a mother. That's what her community is about. So that's her lifestyle. She's using food to bring people to the table, and then this is the conversation that she's having with them. So whatever you are, whatever you do, that is the thing that you're going to be talking about in your cooking show. You're just using food to bring people to the table to have that conversation, and then you can carry it forward from there.
Exactly. You don't need to recreate the Big Mac to bring people to your channel, essentially.
You got to do, you can't be anybody but you. We're talking about 50 episodes a year, this year, next year. You cannot be anybody other than you. Over that, longer horizon, you can't be anything other than who you are.
You got to put it. You got to put in the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And just being yourself instead of having to manufacture every time, which is hard to keep in terms of consistency.
So Lenzy, let's talk a little bit about incorporating your business into your show. So a lot of your clients may have you mentioned a catering business and owning a small restaurant, a food truck. How do chefs and how do these new budding YouTubers incorporate their business with their YouTube channel and their content that they're creating?
That's the beauty of it, man. The show is your business. If you a catering business owner, a restaurant owner, a food truck owner, that business is your life. They're just all consuming in terms of your time and your energy. And so your cooking show is naturally, you can't do your cooking show and not be talking about your restaurant or your food truck or your catering business. Here's what, this is one of our favorites from the restaurant. And in addition to just doing the show, remember, this is TV. So we're going to make commercials for our business as well. That's what I encourage my clients to do. Just like you see commercial breaks on TV, the easy place to insert commercials is when you have a dish that need like 15, 20 minutes of cook time in the oven. So we're going to cut the cameras. The dish goes in the oven for 20 minutes. It comes back out, and then we come back. So that break, you can just do a quick fade from, before the oven to after. But that's an opportunity to put in a commercial where you're talking about your restaurant. Hey, come on down to, Fred's Kitchen, and, this is what we do. So you're going to make these in advance, these commercials, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever you want it to be, not too long though. And you're just going to have an archive of these that you can, or catalog of these that you can drop into your show wherever it's appropriate, wherever there's a natural break. And so you're directly promoting your business through your cooking show. And then also in the description box of every video, that is a massive opportunity. YouTube is the best thing going in terms of social media as far as the ability to generate revenue, because that description box is so powerful. You can put links into it, as many as you want, to whatever you want. You have 5,000 characters of text that you can put in there, so you can explain, what this link is, and give people reasons to click. You can so a link to your website. If you have a restaurant, put the address to your restaurant so people can come visit. If you sell a cookbook or sauces or spice blends, any packaged goods that you offer, links to that in the description. If you sell merch, you got t-shirts for your restaurant, and all of that goes in the description box of every single video. So with each of these videos, you have you're creating a library of independent revenue generating assets. Each video, each description box of each video, these are just bricks, and you're just stacking bricks. And eventually over time, 50 episodes a year, you've built 4 walls, and this brick wall is getting, these 4 walls are getting higher and higher. And each one of these bricks is a revenue generator, an independent passive revenue generator for you. And so that's one, I guess, a couple of different ways that you would use your cooking show to drive traffic specifically or generate revenue specifically for your business by directly promoting your business.
Nice. I really like this part because I think is one of the people. I mean, personally, my chef brother. I've been.
Do you want to go ahead and shout out your brother?
Shout out to Vito Alves, chef in Colombia, Barranquilla, Colombia, but for the world. And I love this because I think it's the part where, in his case, he works with multiple brands. Okay, and now that we're talking about this, I would like to pick your brain about. Okay, so you have all these relationships, you have all these products, and you're using their products and you're displaying them. So the strategy of building the ads, fantastic. Now, what and I'm not sure, but I would like to pick your brain. How do you build a relationship with these brands? If like you have your own brands that you promote, and then every now and then you bring the other one that you put in the same in spaces, like you said. How do you build that?
You build the audience. So you show up every week. Going back to that, once you've shown up every week, often frequently enough or over a long enough period of time, and you've built an audience, you now have an asset that brands want to leverage. You gotta do the work to build the audience. And a lot of people get that wrong. They start out wanting sponsorships, and I'm going to sponsor for what? They're going to pay you to get in front of who? You have no. So let's build an audience first. Let's show up every week and build our audience. And now you have the opportunity to reach out to sponsors. And depending on what you're doing and what you've created, they'll start reaching out to you. They will see who you are and what you're doing and want to be a part of that. And they will reach out to you for those sponsorship opportunities. But it starts with building the audience. You got to put the work in to have something that would be interesting, appealing to a sponsor. They're doing this to make money. So you got to have something, an audience that they feel it would be profitable for them to invest in you because they're going to get more money back than what they put in.
I'm really glad you brought up your audience. So what are some key tactics for engaging an audience and increasing the viewership? How do you leverage the audience that you've built up? What kind of ways are you engaging with them? Is it just a matter of, commenting and liking, or what's your advice there?
The simple is, people are going to get tired of hearing it, but if you're showing up weekly is the most important thing that you can do. The people who are fans of your show, just by showing up weekly to give them more of what they enjoy, that's the number one thing you can do to engage. Show up regularly. And so many people get this wrong. Like, you'll see YouTube channels. YouTube is littered with dead channels. People, dead cooking channels in particular. People do 1 or 2 episodes in a year. That's not the way to engage your audience. That's not the way to build an audience. You're not showing up for them. You want to be a regular in their life. You want to show up consistently, bringing something good, something interesting. You have people who are trying to learn how to cook, and you're a primary instructor. So the most important thing you can do for them is show up consistently. You have home cooks who are fantastic in the kitchen. They've been doing it for decades, and they're just looking for ways to challenge themselves. So like your brother Jose with Colombian cuisine, for a person who has mastered American cooking, they know the family recipes like the back of their hand, and there's nothing in the kitchen that's a challenge for them. Well, let's try cooking a different culture's cuisine, and that can bring the fun back into the kitchen. And so for that person, the best way, the number one thing you can do for them is show up every week with a new recipe that they can go challenge themselves with. They got to go to a different grocery store to go find. They got to go to an ethnic grocery store to find these ingredients that's not in the regular grocery store. Right. And so that's making cooking, putting some joy and excitement back into cooking for them. So the simple answer, I know people don't like it, but just show up every week. You'd be surprised at how many good things come from just showing up every week reliably.
We are a proof of that. I mean, just even around podcasts, there's like pod bookers and people that are working for others, looking for podcast shows to bring them on shows. right? So this is an industry behind that is so big and nobody knows about. Plus, I mean, we don't have to go that far. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, so it stays there. Brilliant.
Yep.
So now, in terms of technical setup, right? Because you can get the gear and this and that and get lost in the weeds in that. What essential equipment and setup do you recommend for chefs who are new to filming and producing their own cooking content?
Start with your phone. That's your camera. You're gonna need a wireless microphone. You can get one of those for like $150, $200. Wireless lavalier microphone, and you need a proper video light, which a lot of people already have because of the pandemic. When we all went virtual, everybody stocked up on video stuff that we, damn, lost for words right now.
Let me help
Anyway,
you. Maybe everybody became so self-conscious because we were on camera all day long that everybody started to be preoccupied to looking good on camera.
and get that. And a lot of us, it was the only way to conduct business. You had to be able to do virtual meetings, and that was what I was searching for: virtual meeting equipment. Everybody stocked up on that stuff. So if you don't have a light, go get one. A proper video light. You need a microphone and your smartphone, and you need a tripod to hold your phone. But yeah, that's it. That's all you need to get started. You can, when you have a proper video light, a smartphone video is indistinguishable from a much more expensive camera video. You just cannot tell the difference. And I've done this to show people. I've recorded stuff with my made video, cooking videos with my smartphone, just to show them you can't tell the difference. I can show them to you side by side. You won't even know which one is which.
That's right.
Yeah, we can speak from experience. I've dove into, audio equipment, video equipment, lighting, etc. And really, at the end of the day, showing up consistently is the most important thing. Number one, on the equipment side, I would say the quality of your audio is probably more important than the resolution of your video, because people will click away if it sounds terrible. But they tend to stick around if the video sounds good, and even if the video is not terribly high resolution, right, 720 or less. But if your audio is really really off, then I mean that just adds to your point about getting yourself a wireless mic or some type of external microphone. But just to start, I think the technology that we have in all of our smartphones is sufficient. And the biggest hurdle that most people really need to get over is showing up, like Lenzy said. Show up, do the content, and then everything else sort of ends up falling into place. So that's really, really great advice. Thank you, Lenzy. That's all the time we have for this episode. Lenzy, now is your time to plug away. Where can people connect with you? What's your platform of choice?
YouTube.
Obviously, why am I even asking that question?
YouTube, man. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com. Handle is at Park Road Studios, Park, ParkRoadStudios. And you will learn everything you want to learn about creating a cooking channel and monetizing it. I really use that channel as my teaching platform. If you go there, you will learn. There's no question. And if you want additional help, then in the description box of every video, there's a link you can click to reach out to me.
That's fantastic, Lenzy. Thank you so much. And I just want to reiterate, doing the cooking show, learning from Lenzy, that gets you in the mindset of creating content. And if there's one thing that restaurant owners and business owners alike have trouble doing, and that is showing up on social because they run out of content. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. You start off with a long form cooking show. Guess what? You chop those up into 30-second clips, 1-minute clips, 2-minute clips. All of a sudden, you've got content for all of your social media platforms and email. You can send your short videos across email to all of your customers, It works out fantastically well. It is a wonderful, wonderful model for creating content and showing up for your audience. Thanks again to Lenzy for joining us. This podcast is sponsored by Dynpricing, real-time restaurant profitability. Dynpricing uses artificial intelligence to improve restaurant profitability by dynamically updating menus across digital channels like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub. Lenzy, thanks again for joining us. Until next week, say goodbye, Jose.
Lenzy, thank you for your service and your current service. And that's it. Goodbye, Jose.
You got there eventually. Thank you for that. Z, thank you so much for joining us, man. That was awesome. We'll look forward to having you back on the show in the near future.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Awesome. Have a great
Thank
day,
you.
guys.